All right, Lip. So listen, the band's 20th album is coming out next Friday, one and only on AFM Records. Just from the history of Anvil and knowing you guys, I know the why you're putting out a 20th album because you and Rob are just so passionate about your music and what you do. But I'm more interested in the explain to me the how. I mean,
Yeah.
you keep coming up with the riffs and the lyrics, and that's not easy to do, man, over all these decades, you know?
Well, the lyrics the lyrics come from, I guess, within, and sometimes you don't even realize there's it's hard to even explain. The titles come from a lists that Rob sends me in as emails.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
guys work on lyrics together?
Well, no, he just gives me titles.
Oh, okay. Really interesting, man.
Yeah, because
Oh,
he's very imaginative with titles, like putting words together to make a title.
yeah, yeah.
I never would think of something like that.
That's
And
interesting.
sometimes very odd things work really well.
Sure, sure.
Sometimes they
Um,
don't. But if nothing else, it can spawn the if see by taking examples of titles, right? When I go through all the bed tracks, like the fundamental song, after we've rehearsed the song
sure.
as a musical piece, I record that and take it home, and I begin to shape lyrics to it. So I'd listened to it 1,000 times, and looking through Rob's all his lists
Of
of
titles only.
titles, and you find what works, either phonically, like what are the syllables,
Sure, sure.
how
Yeah,
many
phonetically, yeah,
syllables
yeah, yep.
in what in the title, to how many beats there are in the riff. You have
That is
to
crazy. Has it always been that way for you two?
What's that?
Has it always been that way? You're working off like the main riff and the titles, and you come up with lyrics that way?
Yeah, that's right. So
Wow.
once I discover what works where, then it tells me what the songs are going to be about, and then you write the lyrics.
That is crazy, man. I've interviewed a lot of bands. I've never heard them do it that way. That is awesome, man. That's just another way of that's very creative to do it that way.
Yeah, it works.
Oh, sure. I mean, shoot, 20 albums later, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I really dig the record lips, and because there's so much different diversity on the record, between song pacing and lyrical topics. Was that intentional, like to make an album almost kind of like a little flavor of each snippet of Anvil's career?
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do on every album. We never have an album that has the same feel going on from one song to the next.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I think might be come across a little more extreme in this album, but generally speaking, from what the angle from my perspective is that I never like to do repeat. You want to express 12 different things, not the same thing 12 different ways.
you know, the listener gets bored after about the third or fourth song if they all sound the same.
Yeah, you can't do that. Like, I try not to. We did that in the 90s. That's the biggest difference.
Mm. Hmm.
You just don't do that anymore, man. No point.
I tell you, I want to get into some of the songs, and the first single that was released was "Feed Your Fantasy," with the single and the video. The video is so cool, dude. That must have been fun to shoot.
Yeah,
That was in Germany.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Influence was from a song that was done by April Wine
Oh, very cool. Good
called
man.
uh, "Mama, You Know It's True." And the only place that they played that song was a live concert that they recorded in the 70s.
Wow.
So I always knew that song and I always loved it. And I was sitting and riffing the guitar and looking for something somewhat similar, trying to find something similar. And I guess the two songs have similarities, but to Miles Goodwin, it didn't sound like the same song.
Sure. Sure. The title track, the first song off the record. It just has a killer beat, a great riff, the opening chant of "Hey, hey, hey," like it just brought me back to that time frame, you know?
Yeah, it's actually interesting. The it to me, it's if you ask me, the song is a cross between "Smoke on the Water" and Wilson Pickett's "Midnight Hour."
Really? Oh man. Let me try to think. That's wow. I can kind of see that a little bit, man.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, that is so awesome, man. It just and you
What
know
a what a
who would have thought that kind of a matchup, you know?
Yeah, but what a combination! How the hell do
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
what? How, you put those two things together? Well, that's what I did.
Lips one and only. Like that time that says it right there, you know? One and only. That's crazy, man. Fight for Your Rights, a really cool song. It sounds to me like it's kind of, giving some like jabs to the world of lawyers or
Well, jabs,
court proceedings.
and cathartically uh, letting the demons out about the record deal that I got from my first record deal.
Okay.
What made me write that is the fact that both the president and vice president of Attic Records both chose euthanasia and that had themselves medically assisted suicide.
Wow. No way.
Yeah, within a few months of each other.
Seriously.
And yeah, and going to the one of them, I went to one of the funerals, and I think it was in around that time that I was writing the lyrics. So yeah, it just was enabled because the things you could never really have a discussion, and when you did, it didn't go well.
I understood. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
You
Wow.
know,
That's
I mean,
pretty intense, man.
don't misunderstand. People shouldn't misunderstand. I'm not ungrateful for getting the record deal. Not it's not that. I'm ungrateful for the fact that it's a record deal that is signed forever, which is something that it is not even legal in today's day and age.
Sure, sure.
That's what I have a problem with.
Wow. Is that because in
I don't think that that's ethically right.
right. Was that due to the naivety of the band? You guys being new to the industry or
There was no other option.
it was that or I'm not going to sign you.
Go away.
Right.
We're not going to invest in you if you're not going to give us this forever.
This shit. That's
That's the way it
that's
went.
brutal.
That's the way it went. You know, maybe maybe, but I don't think it was a question of because we knew what it was. It was discussed. The lawyer discussed it, and we discussed doing something about it. And then the option was basically walk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what you can do about it.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah,
So
they'll just find somebody else.
yeah, and they did.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean? They found lots of other bands and they did it to all the bands. That's the way things happened in 19 you know 80, you know?
It's a tough business. I mean,
It's not a business,
oh.
it's a racket.
And the poor musician, you know.
Yeah,
I've always
and
felt that way, man. I mean, and it continues nowadays. I mean, I read stuff on social media about merch and how the venues are taking, extreme cuts off of merch.
oh, that's fucking
Why?
that's
Why? It makes no sense to me.
really, really, really wrong because it's and I can explain why, and it's just that everything else has been taken away from the musicians. Everything else is taken away from the musicians, and now you go and play a goddamn club, and of course everything that club or that promoter is paid for has given the band money for they spent it getting there.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so the band is not, it's not in a profit zone. So then they go and they set up their merch, and then you take that, like
It's unreal.
like you taking their merchandise. Hey, where's my beer sales? Where's my cut of beer sales? Like
And when you think about it, you have to give you
you're
have to give it
selling
to the
beer
musicians to
as a
continue to do
result.
that shit.
Yeah, but they're selling beer and booze
Oh
as,
yeah.
as a result of us playing.
Right, right.
Guess what?
No
You
sales if the band's not there.
where's my cut of that? You
Yep.
know, it could work both ways if you had the clout. If you had the clout.
That's one of the things that give it to musicians because you guys still do it for it ain't sure as hell to be rich. You guys do it because you like being creative and it's
That's right. That, that's exactly
music's
true.
tough, man.
It's easy as hell for people to take advantage of that, and that's exactly what's going on right now. You can I mean, it's why it's so wrong. Okay, is because music isn't worth anything other than an advertisement for people to come to a show. Your music becomes popular enough that people are attracted enough to be interested enough to come to a show. Okay, and then when they come to the show, well, they don't wear a CD. They
Right.
can't tell everybody what they're listening to when you know what I mean. As
Yeah,
they're,
yeah.
you don't walk around like with this
Look at my album.
album I'm listening to. No, but a T-shirt works perfect. So
Yeah.
in their MP3 players or their downloads or their streaming, whatever they're doing to listen to music, it is how they're getting it. They're not going out and buying product. No one is, and that's why getting a record deal, finding a record company, finding a record store.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, you take all these things are been taken away from the musicians, and now they're finally they got famous enough that people are coming to your club because of the name, because they built a brand name. You're gonna now tax them on the T-shirts that they sell.
It's
How is
it's
that?
criminal, dude.
How is that ethical? It's like after all that, and then now you're going to tax the T-shirts too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh my God! I
yeah.
mean, it's so unethical. But this is what goes on in this business on a regular basis. People found, the greediness is so unbelievable.
In all facets.
It's
All
not
facets.
Yeah, and yeah, but it's human greed,
Oh
really.
yeah.
It's just a reflection of what's in people's hearts.
Right, right.
And to a great degree, everybody is out for themselves, and that includes the musicians themselves.
How so?
How so? Well, geez, you got musicians and bands that are actually in competition with the other musicians in the same band.
Yeah, and yeah, you bring a good point
Right?
up. Yeah.
And that usually breaks them up. Who's making more royalties?
I want more percentage, and yeah.
I want
Writing credits and
I want to be in the picture.
yeah, put me up front.
I want credit on the song, even if you didn't write it. People getting credit for songs they didn't write and then going and bragging about it. All kinds of different scenarios come out of all these things, out of those aspects. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about it in the sense that in a retrospect,
Yeah, yeah.
all the different scenarios that I've actually lived through as a result of the different aspects of human nature involved in this business, what the kind of stuff that goes on, you're going, wow.
The stuff you seed.
Yeah, with no remorse.
Yeah, yeah.
No remorse,
Yeah, or you wouldn't be putting out number 20. I mean, it's simple as that, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you
Oh,
know,
record companies, but not paying, not actually purposely not paying you, and then telling you they didn't. And they tell for going one step further, they tell you if you want the money, sue me.
yeah, yeah. And I got better lawyers than you do, so yeah, good luck.
No.
You know, your US leg kicks off July 10th. Locally here, I'm outside of Philadelphia, so locally you guys play Sellersville Theater on July 18th. My birthday is July 16th, so I'm celebrating by I got my tickets, and I'm going to be with you guys celebrating my birthday, man. So I'm so stoked, I can't wait.
Excellent.
Um, one last question, then I'll let you go. I had read a while ago that speaking about Motorhead, that Lemmy had asked you to replace Fast Eddie at one time.
Yes, that's
That's
true.
true? No shit.
Well, we've been friends. We've done some shows together in previous to that, so he was completely aware of what Anvil was. So what happened was we went to see them at a show here in Toronto, and during the show, Lemmy had a muscle spasm in his right arm,
Okay.
so he stopped the show and left the stage. Well, that pissed off Eddie Clark really, really bad. And we were there. Like I was there so we were hanging out when all this was going on.
Yeah.
And Lemmy was pretty damn ill with it. Like it was, you could see that he was really in pain.
Bothered him. Yeah, he's a warrior. I mean, he's not gonna. Yeah.
He's got an insensitive guitar player that doesn't give a shit. You wrecked our show. You
And
know what
just
I
what you
mean?
were talking about. You were just talking about bad members,
Yeah,
and
there you go. So
that's a perfect example right there. Yeah.
you wrecked our show. I've had enough. Fuck you. I'm going home. So, I mean, I wasn't there during the actual blowout itself, but a number of hours later, I guess by the morning, before they were leaving Toronto, we got a call from their management asking me to, Doug Smith asking me if I want to come play with Motorhead, if I can come take Eddie Clark's place for the rest of the North American tour
Right, right.
and beyond. And I went, well, I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of recording an album.
Well,
I can't go anywhere. It's you're obligated.
of course, of course.
It's not something you can't just pick.
Unless like like we were talking about, you backstab robbing the guys and say, you know what, I'm out of here.
Yeah, see you, Rob.
Yeah,
You go, guys. You guys go
yeah.
find
Good luck.
your
Yeah,
guitar player. I'm gonna go join Motorhead. See ya.
crazy man. But
thinks,
guess what? Other people would have done that, you know?
well, if I was greedy,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's what I'm saying, and there's always room for that in this business, and generally speaking, people follow those things, and some people would say that maybe I was foolish, and Lemmy did say I was foolish. He said it right to my face.
Hmm.
He says, "How could you refuse that? Do you know what this would have done for your career?" And I go, "Yeah, I realize what it would have done for my career. It might have ended it." Well, he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm going, "Well, you know that what I'm going to go leave the band in the middle of making an album?
Yeah,
Would you have left your band in the middle of making an album?" You know, so in discussing it with him, he cooled off. But at first, he was like, "You know how bad that is that if you refused me,
wow.
you." And he was right, but at the same time, not completely, because having asked me is almost as if I've done it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
almost as gratifying, certainly as gratifying to me, saying having said yes.
sure.
Just being asked is what the hell,
Oh,
man.
big honor, man. Yeah.
So from
Uh,
that perspective, what's the difference from that perspective for me, right? Maybe to the world, why didn't you do it? You fucking crazy?
mm.
Well, no, no, I'm not crazy. I
Listen, man, I appreciate the story. I can't wait for the album to come out next week, one and only on again June 28th. I'll see you up in Sellersville, middle of July, man. And
okay,
I can't wait, man. And listen, good luck on the album, and I'll see you in a couple weeks, man.
okay. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Thanks, Lips. Take care, man.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.